Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, we got a new series starting up for us. It is the Hold Your Brakes Academy, presented by PinUpsForVets.com. This is going to be a fun one here. It's geared more towards the kind of beginners and drivers that are starting to get used to iRacing. So, yeah, it's kind of curb your expectations a little bit. Hopefully, we see some good racing out there. It's going to be the XFINITY series cars being used for the series. And the series was basically made up from the league owner, Shane, that we're going to be talking to you here in a second. Just kind of put it out there to the drivers. Let them sponsor a race. They get to pick the race track that they want to go to and sponsor that race. So that's how the schedule was made up. So pretty good idea to set up a schedule. And it takes the owners off the league owner as well. You don't have to worry about people complaining about it. You guys pick the schedule. It's on you. So should be a good one out here tonight. We are at Homestead at Miami for the season opener here. 85 laps on tap. Carl Hamwick joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, another league here that we're going to be starting up here, and should be a fun one. Another one running the XFINITY cars, and it seems to be a good kind of stable car for NASCAR fans out there.
Yeah, very popular track amongst iRacing. Definitely, always a great place to start too. Right here at Homestead, Miami. So one of our favorite tracks to kind of get out here and broadcast on. This one's not too bad. It's not quite like the 2 milers, but it's definitely a good one here. It's almost a mile and a half, 1.48 miles, so almost in that realm of short trackness here for me. But definitely looking forward to meeting all the new drivers and getting out there and see how everybody can do and see who can win the money here tonight. Because I think each week there's small payouts as well.
Yeah, I think tonight is, if I'm not mistaken, I think tonight is going to be $10 for the winner out there tonight. And tonight is sponsored by Dylan Jacobs, and I believe we're going to bring in Tiffany Ellis as well, as tonight is the Homestead High Side Hustle by In the Fence Racing. So I want to thank them for sponsoring the race here. We'll get them in here in a bit here, and we'll talk to the series owner here, Shane, as well. Shane King out there in the number 60 here tonight. But I mean, when it comes to Homestead, this is a track that typically is kind of almost 2 grooves. You're going to have the low groove that a lot of people are going to drop down into, but a lot of times the high groove can be the preferred line, especially to save a little bit of tires out here tonight.
Yeah, definitely different lines are used here tonight, and I know this field is kind of made up of some newer drivers or some people trying to hone in their skills. So we'll see plenty of different lines, I'm sure, being tried here as they try to figure out which one is best to come away the winner here tonight.
Just waiting for our 3 interviewers here, and looks like we got one of them in here, just waiting for the rest of them. But I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in here tonight to CRN. And if it's your first time here, welcome. We got plenty of racing action all throughout the week. I say that now as we have a couple series that are going to be coming to an end this week. Tomorrow night, we got the Core XFINITY series that is going to have their season finale. Thursday night will be the season finale for the Core GT series. But it'll only be a few weeks off, maybe a month at most, until they kick back off once again. We have tonight, obviously, the Hold Your Brakes Academy XFINITY series, and on Sunday nights we have the 191 Motorsports going right now. Currently on Thursday nights, the Virtual Velocity Racing on their summer break right now, so we'll see them back in July as well. Well, we got some time. We'll bring in the league owner here, and that is Shane King. Shane, welcome to the booth here. Thank you for bringing us on board here to cover your season. So before we get to the racing action here tonight, I just want to talk to you about the series, kind of what you guys are all about, what you're looking for from the drivers, and I'll give you some time for any shouts that you may have.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming on board. I'm really looking forward to the broadcast, and yeah, it's the Hold Your Brakes Academy. I started it. I was trying to find a way to race with my dad, who has iRacing as well. But in official races, with splits and everything, our iRatings are wildly different. So I wanted to find a way. So I thought about starting this league, but I wanted it to be more than just a hangout place. So I I wanted to be able to teach people and to learn myself. I mean, anyone that iRaces knows that you're always learning. And so I came up with the Hold Your Brakes Academy. And we get the name from, I also stream on Twitch and sometimes on TikTok as Mediocre Sim Racer. And I always end every stream with, if you're in a wreck, don't forget to hold your brakes, because it seems like I've been taken out so many times by a car that's just a rolling
as
missile.
we all have, we've all been there. Well, want to thank you again for bringing us on here. We're going to try and bring in our two sponsors here for the race here. But before we let you go and get out of here and get in the car for this 85 lap race, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Joe Thomas and the pinupsforvets.com for coming on board as the league sponsor. This thing has taken on a way bigger life of its own than I ever could have imagined, and I really appreciate everyone's involvement. And also to Royalty Motorsports, the team that I drive for, and their sponsors, PGHA Designs, Majestic Branded and Apparel. They've actually used this league as a kind of a picking ground, and a lot of the guys that started here learning have improved so much that they've actually been picked up by teams. So,
all right, buddy. Well, congrats again on the success here. I mean, you guys got 27 cars out here tonight for the season over, so that's a great start. We'll let you go and get to it. Maybe we'll talk to you at the end of the race if we got time, or maybe if you're in the top three as well. So, thank you once again, and we'll let you get to the race.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I hope to earn my interview. Hopefully I'll be in the top three.
That sounds good, buddy. That is driver of the 60, Shane King. We'll go ahead and bring in Dylan Jacobs, and looks like we'll drag up Tiffany Ellis as well. Dylan and Tiffany up here in the booth for In the Fence Racing, and I want to thank you guys for sponsoring tonight's race. So I guess first of all, what made you choose Homestead here for the season opener, and what are you looking for this season?
Well, Tiffany's just a teammate, our team sponsored it, but I picked the track. Picked Homestead pretty much because you have to ride the fence, just like our team name is, In the Fence Racing. That was the main reason why.
Perfect. Tiffany, what do you got to add to the situation here for this season?
Tiffany's just a teammate. You might have yourself muted.
May not have a copy there, yeah. So Dylan, a good-looking schedule here. Obviously, a big mix-up of tracks. Any kind of expectations? Anything you're looking forward to for this season here?
Just be challenging for the championship when it comes down to the end of it. That's pretty much it. Race clean, race steady, learn from some guys.
All right, buddy. Well, before we get to the green flag here, real quick, anybody want to give a quick shout-out to?
Just our team, In the Fence Racing, for everyone practicing with each other and building a good team.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck out there. We'll see if we can talk to you again maybe after the race if we get a top three. But you guys are ready to go green, so we'll let you go.
Thank you.
That is the driver of the 5, Dylan Jacobs. Tiffany Ellis out there in the 87, but we are racing here at Homestead, Miami for the season opener. 85 laps here with the Xfinity cars that head off into turn 1. It's a great sight to see all these cars, the lights coming on here at Homestead. It's picturesque down here. I know obviously you're a man down there in Florida yourself, but it's so cool seeing these palm trees down the backstretch, seeing the sunset here at Homestead.
Yeah, palm trees are a thing of way down south. I mean, we have them around here, but definitely do better down in the south. Because I'm over here in the Panhandle part. But a lot of fun over here in Florida, obviously, and the weather is kind of nice. But you see the colors out there of the Florida, like the Florida colors, the pastel blues and pinks. But right now, we're going racing here tonight. First lap's already in the books. We're on lap number 2. Christian Proctor out the front with Drafty Beef in second, Timothy Presley in third, Joshua King in fourth, and Jeremy Gill in fifth.
Joe Thomas, the series sponsor there in fourth place. He is with the pinups for vets.com. So definitely want to send a shout out and a thanks to him. You guys that are veterans here in the CRN community. You guys know Joe Thomas over there from Core as well, running in the Xfinity series. But he is out here mixing up with these boys here in the Hold Your Brakes Academy here tonight, and Once again, thank him for the series sponsor for this season, running currently in 7th place. Robert Altman, Shane King, Robert White rounding out your top 10. But I mean, again, we got 27 cars out here tonight. Looks like 26 took the green flag. Quinn McLean maybe not taking the green flag here tonight, but a good amount of drivers to start the season. And even though this is a series that again is kind of more geared towards the beginner type of iRacers here, there's kind of a good mix of iRatings as well.
Yeah, pretty decent amount there. Obviously, you got some lower guys below, or somebody down below that 1,000 threshold, but a lot of people on the lower 1,000s, all the way up to about 2,000. I see a 2,100 out there, mixing it up out there, and that's a good kind of a playground, Carl. I mean, you get out there, and I think I haven't ran ovals in I think almost 2 years now, but I think when I stopped, I was right around that 800 mark. And you can really find some good people to get yourself around. They'll actually get some good, clean racing, respectable. But it's just really hard sometimes in those official races to really kind of get some consistency. And when you run with a group of drivers out here, you find yourself, getting a little bit better. You're learning the other drivers. You know if they're a little weak in certain areas, whether it's driving in corners, exiting corners, saving tires. You might have that guy to just push as hard as they can, burns up their tires, and then, 15 laps later, they're heading backwards. I mean, it's all somebody's driving style, and that's what these drivers are here to do, is to kind of learn their mistakes. They might have some speed, and they might fall off really quickly. So, obviously, overdriving the car, burning up them tires, you need to learn throttle control and brake management through the corners and whatnot. So, and then there's maybe some drivers that get a little anxious or squirrely around people. Just the confidence of driving around the same people every week, and that they're on the same playground as everybody else out here learning, that you'll find somebody, basically, to learn from. So it's just a good place to be in any league when you get a group of drivers together to just kind of have a good time, practice your craft here, your hobby that a lot of us love to do. And for me and Carl, we love to drive, but we also like to broadcast. And when we have friends that reaching out, it just seems we kind of we got a wait in line. They keep knocking on our door every now and then, asking if we got an opening. So, but we're here tonight. Caution is out for the first time. We're gonna go back, and it looks like David Chapman Jr. was involved in this one here. As we'll go ahead and we'll slow it down for everybody. And it was right there behind Joe Thomas. Comes down to maybe give space, but gets in front of that Ninja Turtle car there, and he goes sideways. So 88 coming
Chapman
down. Yeah,
cutting across the front there of Robert Altman off the corner. And I seen when we were taking a look there, it looked like Chapman got into the wall a little bit a couple laps ago. But I think that one right there, if you take a look at that, it seemed like Joe Thomas maybe got a little bit of a wiggle coming out of turn number 4. And I think Chapman kind of reacted to that and maybe didn't realize that there was a car directly behind him when he came down the track, and it caused an incident. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned, yeah, this is, it's again a learning league, and to me, there's 3 C's that you need to focus on. And you kind of pretty much hit all of them. Consistency is what you need to work on. You need to, you can be fast one lap, but you need to work on being consistent for an entire run. You need to work around other cars. I mentioned it so many times on broadcast. It's great getting out there and practicing, and you can put 100 laps on a track, and you can completely understand what that car can do in every single line, and to be ready for it. But then all of a sudden you get out around other cars, and you lose a little bit. And so that's what brings me to that second C, in confidence. You got to have that confidence to be able to run around other drivers and know what the car is going to do, know what you need to do to handle it. If all of a sudden somebody changes lanes mid-corner, or they've been constantly going high into the corner, and all of a sudden now they dive down low, and that's where you're planning on doing, what you got to do to combat that. So you need to have that confidence in the car and your abilities. And then clean. You got to be clean. You got to be able to make it all the way to the end of these races and try and keep the car as clean as possible. The drivers out here tonight, They do have 2 fast repairs that they can use, and for anyone that's new in iRacing, a fast repair means, well, just that. If you wreck the car, if you get any kind of damage, you come in there, and sometimes you could have just a little bit of a banged up bumper, and it'll take 20 seconds to repair. You can go in there, get it done, and get back out there. And then there's other times where, it could be minutes worth of damage, and it could be required damage. Well, if you go in there, you have that fast repair checked, it'll take not even a second. It is pretty much instantaneous for the crew to fix your car and get you back out there. So we'll see what these drivers how they use them, because 2 fast repairs, it seems like a lot, and it seems like you can easily get through a race, but you use one of them early, and all of a sudden you get a little bit weary about if and when you got to use that next one. And sometimes you make a mistake and you have that thing checked, and it was only something that was a 10-second repair, but you accidentally have it checked and you use one of them. Because if you just scrape the wall a little bit here, there's going to be even just a little bit of damage to that car, and it's not something that you want to waste a fast repair on, especially early on in the race. But we're going to double this thing back up here tonight. It is going to be Proctor on the front row here, with Presley, King, Beef, and Gill for your top 5. And then you got King, White, Jacobs, Minor, and Ulmer for the top 10. But pretty good start here to the race. We're going to get this thing restarted here on lap number 12.
I guess some of your leaders taking advantage, coming down, whether they were involved or just decided to come down the pits, as got some people that have fell down through the field just a little bit. So Christian Proctor will go ahead and lead them off here as they come down this front stretch here. And number 13 is going to get on the loud pedal, take the green flag. Nice little jump there, gets them out front, in front of the rest of the field, with the 1 to Timothy Presley quickly behind them, a little bit higher. So some drivers trying to ride that high line here, like we talked about, and it's a very fine line to get up there against that wall. You really need to know the width of the car. You really need to know how your car handles through the corner, so you don't find yourself essentially scraping it a little bit and catching. It's called like a track handbrake, I guess, if you want to call it that. It just kind of like grabs on you and takes about 10-15 miles an hour off you, or could, depending on how long you're up in the wall. Possibly give you enough damage that next thing you know, you got a meatball. But see 2 distinct driving lines here right now from the first 2 drivers, and obviously as we look back through the field here, you can see people kind of fanned out. So we'll kind of go back through the field, still learning everybody's names here and cars. Got a lot of nice looking cars out there tonight. A lot of drivers take an extreme amount of time, whether they make the paints themselves or liveries, whatever you want to call them, or they have somebody make them for them. And a lot of them look good here tonight under the lights here. So we'll get a chance to go through most of them here, I'm sure, and but just kind of continue to obviously give a shout out to the fans out there, everybody here that's joined the CRN Nation to watch these drivers of the Hold Your Brake Academy run here at Miami tonight. So just a mediocre sim racer, Zebra, Denise King, and 25 Designs out there rooting their drivers on. So good to see the fans out there and hopefully the drivers finish where you want them to. Not all of them can finish on the top spot, but we'll see who can figure this thing out here in about another 60 laps.
Or 70 laps for those that are keeping up there. But yeah, it's worth mentioning too that these drivers aren't out there with a full tank. They are maxed out at 75% for their tank capacity, and they also only have 4 sets of tires in the pits. So if this ends up getting a little bit of a caution fest, they can't just go in and take tires every single time. So you got to be a little smart with it. We did have looks like maybe 4 or 5 cars, looks like 4 cars coming into the pits under that caution. Obviously the 94 and the 88 involved in the wreck. They came in especially to get some damage done, but are taken care of. But Joe Thomas also came in the pits, and it looks like Andrew Jones also making a pit stop. But most of them only taking a little bit of fuel, a little splash and go to get them back out there. It looks like only maybe Robert Altman taking a set of tires here tonight. But out front, it is Christian Proctor, Timothy Presley in second, Joshua King, Jeremy Gill, and Dylan Jacobs for the top 5. Then you got Beef, King, White, Minor, and Ulmer for your top 10. This is the third season here for the Hold Your Brakes Academy. It seems like that's kind of the buffer that we've been dealing with kind of lately. We obviously picked up 191 Motorsports on Sunday nights for their third season, and now we pick up these guys and gals here for the Hold Your Brakes Academy in their third season. Their first one, they ran just strictly super speedways, and there were about losing my spot here. They were, it was the first season was all super speedways with Ryan Perrone out there tonight in the 50, back there in 16th position right now. He was the champion for the that first season, and then last season they ran all intermediate tracks with Jeremy Gill getting the championship in that one, and Gill up there in 4th position right now in the number 4. As he is the reigning champion coming into this season. But now this season they are mixing it up and getting a little bit of everything. They got the super speedways in there, they get the intermediates, and now they added the short tracks as well. So we'll see how these newer drivers, if you will, handle some of the short tracks, which could potentially be the biggest learning curve. It's really tough to be that close and all together as a 22. Gets up into the wall a little bit, but a good job getting off the wall, but also keeping it up there, but gets into the 52, and we're going to see another caution here. The 88, just a little bit of a tag there at the end, as Tristan Minor did a good job again getting in the wall, and it's very easy to kind of get sucked onto that wall and hard to get off, and then all of a sudden it just kind of shoots off of that wall. But he did a good job keeping it up there once it detached, but it looked like just a little bit close quarter racing there with the 52, and 52 didn't really have much of a place to go because he had the 7 on the inside coming off the corner, and then a 51 ducked in there, so 3 wide off the corner, and I think the 52 and 22 just kind of met in the middle as the 52 there just drifting up the track off the corner. 94 getting involved again, and the 94, 88 involved in the first one, and just can't catch a break getting involved in his second one here. But don't look like too much damage there, Jimmy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't look like too much damage for any of them. So hopefully, other than the 22, may need to take a fast repair on this one. Will bring us under another caution here at Homestead.
Yeah, another caution here on lap 21 of 85. So only 2 cautions so far. Not too bad, as the drivers are feeling each other out, and obviously changing things up from last season where they did the mediocre tracks. I guess this would line up in the mediocre track. So definitely could be busy here at Homestead for sure. So, but right now is go up and we'll go look at some of the go look at who's up there right now, and it does look like Christian Proctor is going to stay out. I'll go ahead and bring up the tower here, kind of show you where your favorite driver may be sitting when they pitted last, and it looks like the top 6 stay out. Thomas was in on lap 9. Anderson and Osborne are staying out, and then the rest of the field looking like they're coming down the pits here. As you got Presley, Gill, White, Jacobs, Chapman, Smith, Alley, McLean, Ellis, Perrone, Jones, Harris, Martin, Minor, Altman, and McLean. Oh, McLean's out. So yeah, everybody coming in, taking some service, getting some fuel. I think they're at that window. I'm not quite sure. I wish I would have got a little practice in or earlier this week and figured out what the fuel mileage was, but or how much. But I know now they know that they run, you said 75%? They run 75% fuel, so,
yep.
Even if I went out there with a full tank and get a good estimate on like where that would be. So we'll have that prepared for next week for sure, to kind of give everybody an idea how long they can actually be out there and running. But as of right now, we are running under caution as Christian Proctor, Joshua King, Drafty Beef, and Shane King and Robbie Minor for your top 5.
Well, we got a chance. We're going to bring in the driver of the 5 here again, Dylan Jacobs. Dylan, under the second caution here, it looked like you had a pretty good start to the race. You started just outside the top 10 there in 11th, but you worked your way up to the top 5 before you come in to make your first pit stop. So how's the car feeling out there for you tonight?
It's feeling pretty good. I think that caution came at the wrong time because it was in the middle of like a tire run. The tires just started feeling really good, but too many laps on them to really try to stay on them. Other than that, the car feels great.
Yeah, it seems like the wall is grabbing a few cars out there, but it doesn't seem like it's being too bad. I mean, there's a lot of times you get caught on the wall and it just kind of sticks there, but the cars are at least coming off the wall a little bit. Any issues riding that high line like you were calling out?
No, at least not for me. Just gotta keep it easy on the throttle, and just try not to get sucked up into the wall.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to it. Is Tiffany's mic all set up again, or not?
No, I don't think so. I just think she's having mic issues.
Okay, no worries. We'll drop you back down there.
All right, thank you.
That is the driver of the 5, Dylan Jacobs, as he's going to be restarting back there in 12th position after coming into the pits and riding on board with him here. And you see how tentative you kind of have to be on these restarts. You want to get a good restart, but, kind of buried back here, 6th row as the 7 and 1 get close to getting together there, going through the corner. 3 wide back here, just outside the top 10, and definitely getting a little racy here. And I got to say, 85 laps, it seems like a decent amount of laps for a track, but at Homestead here, they buzz by pretty quickly. I mean, it's a little over 30 seconds a lap, and again, close right there between the 4. And it looks like we are going to have another caution, and maybe we talked to Dylan Jacobs early enough that he was having a good race until we talked to him, but now involved in this one, as quite a few drivers are involved in this wreck. We'll take a look back and see what brought this one out, but it looked like possibly the defending champion, the 4, involved in this one, Jeremy Gill. And you see 3 wide, the 4 getting a little bit of a wiggle, the 22, a big slide, and down into the 4. So 22 that goes up there, and then the 5 trying to avoid the 22 ends up collecting the 54, the 69 getting involved as well. Looks like the 19 involved. The 77 almost snuck by on the outside, but tags the 69 on the way through. So quite a few cars involved in this one.
Yeah, and it's these cars don't react very well under the brakes. 88 probably holding his breath as he sneaks by there this time, as it does look like the 69 holds their brakes for this event here, or this incident. So just a little bigger of a caution. Not too bad of a caution, just obviously just more people involved. So another caution hit flies here as we're on lap 26 of 85. So only a few laps under green. So you can only imagine some of these drivers, and you see their positions, and still some people out there maybe deciding when they should come in. I mean, you got Proctor and Beef and King and Minor all out there, still haven't come in. And then Ulmer and Anderson as well. Osborne still hasn't been in. And then now you have like Presley has been in the pits lap 21 on that number 1 car in P number 7. So starting to work his way through the rest of the field. And now you have the back part of the field here coming in on lap 25. And if they got new tires, I mean, a couple of them are still in the lead lap, somewhere a lap down. But if they're on that lead lap, they should be able to work their way through if this can go back to green for an extended period of time. The longer it keeps going from green caution, it allows them tires to cool down. They never really get worn, and those drivers, the only thing they're fighting against is fuel. So how much fuel, are they willing to? How low, can you go basically? Because right now they could have came in and stayed with the pack, or now if this thing decides to go green and they have to pit, these drivers have been out here 20 some laps later, so you're probably going to go a lap down, and hopefully nothing happens, and then maybe somebody else stays out, so you're trapped a lap down and hopefully trying to get that lead lap back. So there's a lot to keep in mind when you're staying out, and I know track position is important here. As you can tell, as nobody wants to kind of give it up. So right now, people not giving it up. Proctor, Beef, King, Minor, and King for your top 5. Thomas, Presley, Ulmer, Anderson, Gill for your top 10. And then the rest of the field they're mixing up here as they line back up. Prone, Jones, Harris, Akron, White, Chapman, Martin, McLean, King, and Jacobs for your top 20. Minor, Ellis, Smith, Alley, White, Altman there for 26 cars. Give a shout out to Barry showing up here tonight, along with Don King and Lily Kellerman.
Was going to bring Shane King in for a little bit of an interview there. Looks like we're getting ready to go back green here, and for some reason King was up there towards the front, up there in the top 5, and all of a sudden dropped away out. So I'm not sure if he has connection issues or what the case is. But we're about to go back green here, so we're not going to try and bring him in here at this point. We're going to this thing back under green. Hopefully we'll get a nice little green flag run here. But quite a few drivers still have yet to come into the pits, and I'm counting 7 of them right now. Actually 8 if you count Shane King. Not sure what happened to the 60, but it's going to be back under green here. You see a bit of a bobble from the drivers that haven't come in yet. Those dirty, cold tires, not wanting to wake up here on the restart, but somehow we'll get them all pointed in the right direction heading into turn number 1. It's going to be Proctor leading the way again.
Yeah, big checkup for some of those drivers, on the newer tires. And it's a big part of learning, when you stay out on them older tires. But that is one of the things that can cause you to, cause a big pile up front. So if you've got new tires and like the top 8 drivers have not come in to get tires, there's a high likely chance that when they get on the gas, they're going to spin them things, and it could create everything kind of like into like this big old accordion. But right now, it seems like they got things kind of going here after a little bit of tire spin in the beginning. So working things out here, mostly single file here in front of Ryan Perrone, is right alongside of Ryan and the few back here. They are 2 by 2 trying to sort things out as we're on lap 30 of 85.
Yeah, as you mentioned, when we go green here, the laps tip by pretty quickly. We're already on lap number 30. I know we've seen a few cautions start this thing out, but already almost at the halfway point. A couple cars just kind of feeling out that front stretch wall and feeling how close he can get to it, and maybe a little too close for some, but working their way back up through the field. And right now, the top 2 have yet to come into the pits, but 3rd place, Timothy Presley in the 1, has made a pit stop on lap number 21 and now works his way around the 17, working his way towards the front of this field. Proctor has led pretty much this entire race so far, but he could be having company pretty soon with some fresh tires as Presley pit on lap number 21 here, and working that high side, trying to keep those tires nice and fresh and not wearing them too much while still using them up here a little bit as well, catching up to the leader as he brushes the wall off of 2.
And each driver is just going to continue. Obviously, the tires are going to wear down. It's just a matter of time. 13 is just going to kind of have to let the 1 go, as it's not a fight they want to have. But it looks like we have another incident back here with Steve Harrison, and the caution comes out here on lap number 32. So just in time, saving Christian Proctor from maybe being passed and being let go. So we're going to go back here and we'll check out what happened to Steve Harrison back here in looks like NP number 7 at the moment.
Big wiggle coming out of turn number 2 down into the 5, and then a heavy impact in the outside wall. Looks like the 52 cleans him out as well. Couple of the couple of hoods go flying there from the 52, and the 51, I believe, end up losing their hood as well. So Harrison involved with some big impact. William Martin involved as well. And this is definitely going to be some fast repairs needed for both of these cars to get back going here. And both of them in the pits. Looks like the 77 also coming down to pit road. But now this time by, we're going to see a couple more drivers that have yet to make that first pit stop finally come in. But still, Proctor stays out, as does Joshua King and Drafty Beef. Those 3 just I don't know, maybe they forgot to bring their crew with them this week. Maybe they want to try and save some money on tires and fuel. I mean, to each his own. They're still up there, all 3 in the top 5, so I can't really say they're doing anything wrong.
Imagine if tires were like V-Bucks and like Roblox or something, you know, in order to have a certain amount of tires, you'd be like, all right, I need to spend some iRacing bucks for some tires tonight, you know?
iRacing needs microtransactions. Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, if they did, you imagine the amount of money they would get off tire bucks? Definitely what we don't need. I mean, they do already have a monthly subscription, so those tires are covered, all pressures included, and all wheel changers included as well. So, but they can come down. It's just on the leagues how many tires they actually get over the wall or for the race, and it's a big deciding factor. Some leagues, Carl, some like to have it where they have to manage these tires. You know, you got to think about, you know, typically how long would a full run last on a green flag. So say, you know, it's, you know, tonight, you know, a full run should have been like 50 laps. So in all reality, they should only need one set of tires, like to, you know, to have enough to make it to the end. So some teams or some leagues will limit that stuff. So, you know, they'll make you manage your tires, and maybe they'll just give them 2 sets, and you'll find a lot of people kind of sometimes holding on to and waiting for that late caution with, you know, 10, 15 laps in, so they'd have a fresh set to kind of give them the best chance. But when races go green and clean, that doesn't pay out too well for some of those drivers. We see them finish towards the back, so just kind of hoping that their teammates or league mates crash. So, but maybe not something here. They have plenty of tires. They got 5 sets over the wall. They got 50 laps remaining, so, you know, maybe I think by now, if I would have came in, I'm taking a set of tires. And a lot of these drivers, I'm sure, here came in at lap 33. So, you know, I don't know if they can go the rest of the way, Carl, because like I said, I don't know how far they can go. So right now, Proctor is going to test them waters out for us here. Is on lap 35 out of 85. Obviously, got about 10 laps under caution, so that's going to be about half the distance of the fuel. So we'll just say about 30 laps or so. We'll see how far they can go. A little more tail spin here, or wheel spin here in the beginning as we start to lap number 36. Proctor is able to get that number 13 back out front of Timothy Presley. That's riding that high side, 17 of Joshua King, and that nice purple and green car showing its way up front here in the number 17, Drafty Beef in the number 2 royalty car, and Jeremy Gill in P number 5 and that number 4. And then your series sponsor here, Joe Thomas, has made his way up to P number 6.
Yeah, it's good to see Jeremy Gill again, the last season champion, moving his way all the way back up there, involved in an earlier incident, but already back up there into the top 5. Still waiting for that battle for the lead. The one riding that high side, trying to get up there to the 13 of Proctor, but good battles all throughout right now. Riding on board with your series sponsor, Joe Thomas, looking up there at the top 5, wanting to make his way up there. Andrew Jones, the car behind him, and Ryan Perrone, season 1 champion, both running right behind him, trying to work their way up there. They are the biggest movers of the race so far, both up 14 positions from the start. But I think with all these cautions, it's kind of shaken up the field 2-3 times so far. But still surprised that we have those 3 cars out there that have not come into the pits. I know we've had quite a few caution laps to kind of cool those tires back down. You're not using them up as much. But, you know, with 4 sets of tires in the pits, you can go ahead and take, you know, a fresh set of tires and not worry about it. But now we do have a pass for the lead. Timothy Presley is your new leader. He gets 1-2 spot right now, and Proctor trying to fight him on the inside. Little side draft down the front stretch, side by side into turn 1. But I think eventually those newer tires are going to work out for Presley, and you see on the outside, gets the run off the corner. Proctor tried to get there to the side draft, but not going to happen. Presley, your new leader here at Homestead.
Yeah, and that's basically how this outside works. And they're talking about being able to ride up along that wall, and the one able to use that outside and just keep that momentum. And basically what happens is that inside driver, they end up being going down and trying to get the car to turn. And as they're coming out, they drift up. You can see the one riding down, trying to ride that wall line, gets into the wall just a little bit. And that's the danger of riding up there, is being able to just do it consistently, lap after lap after lap, and keep that run going. So the momentum is strong out there. You just got to be a little slower going into the corner. And you can see the one scraping the wall just a little more than he wanted to there. As he's still able to maintain the lead, but it's definitely slowed him down, keeping Jeremy Gill there in number 4 as he's made his way around Christian Proctor for P number 2. So these drivers are starting to show their tire wear here as Proctor, King, and Beef all starting to fall back ever so slowly as the rest of the field is starting to catch up to them. And you have right here, you have David Chapman and Joe Thomas licking their chops at the number 2, trying to get around the Beef man as he occupies P number 5.
Yeah, I mean, but still got to give it to them. They're still in the top 5 after all said and done, and we are getting to that halfway point. It should be halfway through the race at the completion of this lap, and they have yet to come into the pits. So a great job out there, and a great job conserving tires and still being fast for Proctor, King, and Beef. But out the front, it is Timothy Presley only just as Jeremy Gill, last season champion, trying to get to the front for the first time this season, and looks like he's going to maybe out of turn number 4 here. And indeed, new leader here at Homestead is going to be Jeremy Gill. They ran the intermediate tracks last season, and it was to Gill's liking as he grabbed the championship. And already here at the intermediate track here at Homestead, takes the lead here. He came in at the same time as Presley. They both came in on lap number 21, got those fresh tires, so that's why they are putting them to use right now. David Chapman in the 88 came in on lap number 21 as well and has those fresh tires, trying to work around the 2 right now to get himself up into 6th place, as it looks like, I'm trying to see here, yeah, it looks like Dylan Jacobs is starting to work his way back up there in the 5, as we've got a bit of a mix-up here on the front stretch, but it's down on the apron, and this happens more often than not here at Homestead. It's such a wide track, and you get down on the apron on the front stretch or on the back stretch, and it's not going to throw a caution because it's so far off the racing line. As we take a look here, it was the 57 on the back stretch here, sliding down there all alone. On the front stretch, the 69 and maybe the 53 involved in this one. I think it was a 54 flying by there, or the 53, but it's down off the racing line. It's down off the racing surface, so no caution here as we start lap number 45.
Yeah, Iracing keeps it clean, and that's one thing that does happen. In order for those flag, if the league uses Iracing cautions, sometimes Iracing gets it right, sometimes they don't. Typically, if you had a steward in there, it's a race control. They're throwing that yellow flag with obviously with multiple cars, somebody in the back stretch, somebody in the front stretch. They're throwing that caution flag out there, and that's slowing things down here just a little bit. But we're on a little bit of a run here. It's probably a good thing. Let these drivers stretch their legs and get this thing underway. As we're on lap 46 of 85, so over that halfway mark, looking to make this evening a fun one here. Got battles all over the field here. Back here with David Chapman in the 88 now. Just got around the 2 of Drafty Beef, obviously extending his time out there on track. Joe Thomas in P number 8, trying to work his way around as well. And we'll go back to the field just a little bit back here in 16th place and 15th place. You got a big old pack. And like I said, it's almost every league, no matter where you go, the middle of the pack between 10 and like 20, those drivers just seem to battle it out, like duke it, just keep duking it out. They take off the gloves way early, and they're battling like 3/4 of a race. They're probably the most worn out drivers out there because they're just consistently, you get a position, you lose a position, you get in an accident, you don't get an accident, you miss an accident. It's just a battlefield back here in the middle of the pack, and it's just kind of where everybody kind of meets together, and that's where people that were slower start getting faster. Maybe somebody just having a bad race is in that pack. So it just kind of all boils down. It can be a real big cluster, but doing a pretty good job back here. Good battles so far. It does look like we have some takers to the pit here, as it does look like Beef and King are in the pits finally here on lap 47 to take their pit stop. Now, Carl, everybody else did theirs underneath caution. Beef and King are out here taking under green. You can see they've gone one lap down as they're exiting, and Gill has gone by So it's going to keep them a lap down. So Beef and King will have to fight with the other drivers in order to get their lap back, or fight for that lucky dog. So now we're the only driver that we're waiting for right now is Proctor in that number 13. He should be bringing that machine down here very soon to be serviced, or maybe just wait until hopefully Akasha comes out so he can come down and make it the rest of the way. So I don't know if they can make it the rest of the way, but I do know the ones that just came in will. So we'll see how things all manage out here with Jeremy Gill in the lead over Timothy Presley, Dylan Jacobs in third, Christian Proctor's in fourth, and Joe Thomas rounding out your top 5.
Well, that's what was kind of wondering in my mind as well. These cars that pit in on lap number 21, some of them pit on lap number 26, some even topping off on lap number 33. How far can they go on this run here? I mean, it's 75% of a tank here. It's a pretty good amount here, as it looks like Proctor. I'm wondering if he missed the pits that time by. Now the question is, does he have enough fuel to get around for one more lap? As this is definitely going to put the 13 behind the 8 ball. But, do these drivers that already pit on lap number 21, 26, 33, do any of them have enough fuel to make it to the end? And if so, these drivers here of Proctor and King and Beef, who just came into the pits, they're going to need a caution. They're going to need a lot of help to get back into this race. But we do see Proctor made it back around into pit lane, but out front with a now 4.5 second lead, Jeremy Gill setting sail and setting that outside just a little bit free coming off of turn number 2.
Got a little excited, maybe feeling the pressure of CRN's eyeballs directly on that number 4, trying to see if he can bring this thing here home, defending champion of last season. So we'll see if Gill has what it takes to continue the march here on a mediocre track. Timothy Presley in that 1 coming in the pits right now, so bringing that number 1 down. So it does look like most of these drivers that are out there are going to have to kind of maybe come in for a splash and dash. Right now they're kind of set on this, maybe a green flag stop. Carl, it's huge. Green flag pit stop, Bryce caution pit stop is like night and day, obviously. You can gain or lose many spots on the track now in this time frame.
Yeah, it's so much more pressure as well. I mean, Homestead isn't that difficult of a pit entry to get into, but when you're trying to do everything you can to gain time and or just straight up not lose time coming into pit lane, it can get really hectic really quick. And then even, one thing that's not talked about, we talk about almost all the time about the pit entry, but here at Homestead, the pit exit, it's a long, flat exit coming out of the pits there, and you got to keep it all the way down on the access road all the way until the backstretch. You want to try and get as much speed going through there as possible, but you get a little bit too much. You get out into that grass, and you're going to be coming right back in the pits because you're probably going to be wrecked and bringing out a caution. But looks like the 17 here of King trying to work his way up through the field, not passing these cars for position. He's trying to get his way back up there, maybe get his lap back the hard way, waiting for the rest of these cars to come into the pits. Beef trying to hold on to the back of him here as he's back there in 14th position. King is now up into 12th. So Robbie Minor into the pits from the top 10, but out front it is Jeremy Gill now out to a 6.5 second lead over Dylan Jacobs, and then Andrew Jones, Bryson Anderson, and Matt Ulmer for your top 5, as Joe Thomas is also going to drop into the pits now. David Chapman, Tiffany Ellis, Kelly Akron, and James Smith are going to be rounding out your top 10. Biggest movers of the race right now. Again, we're kind of in the middle of maybe a little bit of a pit cycle here, but Andrew Jones, Bryson Anderson up 18 positions. Tiffany Ellis tried to talk to her before the beginning of this race, but unfortunately some mic issues, and doing a good job right now, up 12 spots, starting back there in 18th. So a good start to this race here with the 87, as we are now on lap number 57. So laps are starting to click away here, already down to 29 laps to go.
It's going to be very shortly. You're going to see up there on the banner. It's going to go from lap 50, when it hits 60, going to switch from 60 to go. So 25 laps to go here on a 1.5-mile track. You know, these drivers out here obviously turning some pretty decent times, running around right around that 30-second a lap, you know, so within that 30 seconds. But a caution has flown here for the worst time for a few drivers. It does look like the 7 trying to come down the pit scene immediately there, but Robbie Minor has made the crash, so this is going to mix things up. It's going to pay off big for some of those drivers that decided to stay out. Some of the ones that were in, we'll see what happened, but that's what happens here under what can happen under green flag pit stops when everybody is off cycle. But the 53 just losing that rear end, so Robbie Minor is going to go for a ride down on that inside and probably bounce off the inside wall. Oh wow, nice hard hit.
That's a bit of a bounce. That's a Super Bowl bounce right there. And again, we've seen cars slide down there and crash before by themselves, and we've seen it earlier in this race, and it didn't bring out a caution. So I'm actually kind of surprised that this one did bring out a caution. I mean, it was an absolutely heavy impact, and Minor ended up having to tow it back to pit lane. But kind of a worst time here for Bryce Anderson, just coming into pit lane when the caution came out. You see him lock up the tires, but he was already in there committed to pit lane, so you know, any penalty he was going to get it anyway. But this is a godsend for the drivers up front. Gill, Jacobs, Jones, Ulmer, all these drivers, Tiffany Ellis, Chapman, all going to be able to come in here under yellow flag conditions. All the other drivers that stayed out there so long, you got King, Beef, Proctor, they're all probably going to stay out there, get their laps back, and they'll be back on the lead lap. But they're also going to be on used tires compared to these guys now, so we'll see how that plays out here in the long run. But this is exactly what these drivers that are in the pits right now wanted to see. They don't mind this caution at all. This caution and pit stop will get them to the end, no doubt about it. We got 26 laps remaining right now, and it looks like winning the battle off of pit road is going to be the 5 of Dylan Jacobs, as he took tires along with Jeremy Gill and everybody else here, but it's a little bit quicker of a pit stop. And you take a look at the entire pit lane time for Jacobs, and it was about a second faster than Gill. Gets him out in front of this race.
Yeah, you can just see the difference between the drivers, and this is huge. Obviously, we know that these are under caution, so they should be fairly close to one another. But you can see the disparity between first and second. That 1.4 seconds. So you know, it's definitely a pretty big gap. So if you just kind of go back to like how far 1.4 seconds is while they're under green, you know, that's you know, a good quarter of a turn. So that could be 2, 3, 4 spots when it comes down to it, when you're looking at green flag pit stops. So something that drivers always continue to work on. Some people are super good at it, Carl. Some people are great at, you know when they need to hit the brakes, how much brakes to apply, you know, making sure if they've, you know, dialed the brakes back for some trail braking through corners, they're moving their brake bias back forward so they're not spinning around before they enter the pits. And you know, and then coming down the pit lane, you know, obviously there's a set speed, so everybody's going the same speed, but you know, pulling into your box, it can be a little tricky, kind of figuring out how these cars are going to react to the brake setting that you have for the week. So it's very important for drivers to get out there every week and practice their pit stops, get things rolling so they can have a good in and outs. But everybody should be good to go for the rest of the way. It looks like Dylan Jacobs will lead them off here in that number 5. Then you have Jeremy Gill on the outside, Andrew Jones, Matt Ulmer, David Chapman, Tiffany Ellis, Kelly Akron, James Smith, Joshua Viper, and Drafty B for your top 10. Then Christian Proctor, Timothy Presley, Joe Thomas, Chris Alley, Ryan Perrone, and William Martin will be the 16 drivers on the lead lap. And then the rest of the field will be Zach White, Bryson Anderson, Steve Harris, Robert Atman, Tristan Miner, Thomas Osborne, Shane King. Looks like Sean McLean in the 6 is still in the pits. Robbie Miner, Robert White, and then obviously Quinn McLean not being out there tonight. But 26 drivers on the track, 16 drivers on the lead pack or on the lead lap, 24 laps to go. Who will be our winner here for the first race of the season?
Quickly try and bring in the driver of the 60 here, Shane King. And Shane, just a quick question before we go back to green. Just kind of wanted to get an idea of what happened to you earlier, seeing you up there in the top 5, and then all of a sudden you dropped out.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. It's I got the blue screen. Windows has encountered an issue, and my heart just sank. So I restarted everything as quick as I could.
All right, well, looks like you're back out there, so we'll let you go back out there. Hopefully you can gain a couple positions before this thing is over.
Yeah, I'm hoping the cautions fall right. I just got the wave around and got a lap back. We'll see if we can't battle back onto the lead lap of this thing.
All right, buddy, we'll let you go back out there. That is the driver of the 60. As you see, a little bit of a bunch up in front of him, and takes a evasive maneuver to the outside here. Still down a couple laps here is the 60, as you see him just scroll on by there. 23 laps to go. He's going to need the cautions to really fall the right way and make it another one here. But he's going to need a lucky dog position, I believe, to get some laps back, as we got some more cars wrecking behind. Some big incident back here on the backstretch, still wrecking.
Hold the brakes, guys. Hold the brakes.
Yes. Definitely heed the name of the league here, as we had a few cars coming in there late, getting involved, and it could have been some used tires on the backstretch right there, but quite a few cars getting involved in this one. There you go. And as good as the 17's race was going early on, it pretty much speaks volumes right there of what's going on. There we go. He slams on the brakes, gets that hood to go back down. The question is, will it stay down? Looks like he's just going to tow it back to pit lane, and that's going to be possibly the end of the night for Joshua King. We'll take a look and see what brought this one out. I think it's up a little bit further. I see already smoke up towards the front of this one.
I think right here. There's Tristan. Let's see code here. Yeah, that's
19.
22. I think it's the 19 here.
Yeah, 19 already sideways there. Not sure if they got help from the 94 there or not. Now it looks like already sideways heading into the corner.
Drifting quite a ways, trying to save it. 94 does check up, but 22 thought he was safe, but the 94, nope, he still stayed off him. 19.
Yeah, now it's the 19 of Kelly Akron getting loose, trying to save it, but unfortunately the 94 ends up getting up into the wall, getting involved in this one. You see the one right here was having such a good race, a little bit of a tap right there. Might have gotten away, all things considered, with maybe a little bit of damage, and hopefully the one can get back up there and try and battle for this thing yet. Series sponsor just sneaking by. The 57 not getting by, though, getting tagged there from the 94. You see right there some hard impact. The 17, that's where he got involved, and the hood ended up wrinkling up on his car. You see the 51 trying to weave their way through, but then right here at the end, the 51 comes down the track, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure who that was, came down the track from the outside and took out the 51 as well. So quite a few cars involved in this one. Late here, as we're coming down to 20 laps to go, there's going to be a lot of cars that are going to need a fast repair after this one. You see the 17 had to tow back to pit lane. Looks like the 94 did as well. A lot of damage here for some of these cars, and says all you need to say right there.
Yeah, just unfortunate, but that's, I'll go ahead, and this is what the driver sees when this happens, and it happens sometimes. Go ahead and drive through that. But this is all what King was saying. Nothing but his hood up in the air. Maybe if he's riding around in VR, he's maybe ducking, looking to the right a little bit. Maybe he's got his head hanging out the window. You do everything in VR. Yeah, but you can't do that with just your monitors. So probably has no power here. So he's just going to go ahead. It ends up stopping. The hood does fall down and ends up going back, towing it in. But 17 has taken that tow, gotten that, because we're now alive, gotten a fast repair, put everything back together again. It's something like a free mulligan, but hopefully is able to get back out there and stay on. I don't think he's on the lead lap anymore. Nope, he is now
2 laps down.
a couple laps down. So yeah, let me still learning everybody here, so it's kind of hard to see their car number.
Well, we are
Yeah,
green
yeah.
once again here, and Dylan Jacobs is going to send them off into turn number 1. The 4 of Jeremy Gill right behind him in second. Andrew Jones, Matt Ulmer, David Chapman for your top 5. Then you got Tiffany Ellis, James Smith, Drafty Beef, Christian Proctor, Joe Thomas for your top 10. But it's race time here. It is 4 wide off the corner here. The 13 of Proctor trying to make up for lost time, passing 2, now 3, and now all 4 heading into turn number 3 as Proctor moves himself all the way back up to 6th position. Seemed to be the car to beat early on, but a differing pit strategy and, well, just not pitting for quite some time and then finally pitting under green flag conditions put him back in this pack. But it's go time here at Homestead. It is 18 laps to go, and these drivers are starting to get mighty racy up here at the front.
Yeah, a lot of different, obviously, strategies here, and they're trying to get them into play. The one of Timothy Presley trying to work their way forward as well with the 2, and the 22 being involved. They are a lap down with Tristan Miner. Okay, I thought there was 22 in the Hooters car.
There is the 22 going around here, but that is actually the 9 on the timing and scoring. And drivers taking evasive maneuvers here to avoid them. That was some heavy impact there for the Hooters number 22, which is actually the 9 of James Smith. We'll take a look at it again as the 2 of Drafty Beef goes to the inside, and it looks like the 22 just kind of drifts down slowly, hooks himself off of the front of the 2, and gets sent right around on the front stretch and slaps the wall on the inside pretty hard there. Hard enough that I'm sure that's going to be a fast repair situation again. These drivers only have 2, and this is why I'm saying, you're wary about using that first one early on, because that second one is just waiting, and a little bit of a net code contact right there.
Go for a ride. Zach White.
Yeah, right.
In the 60, trying to take evasive maneuvers there and get around, but down the pit lane there. Yeah, definitely. A wrap up there, and you said that was the the 8. But yeah, definitely a tough one there for James Smith, as things happen here, and obviously late in the race, so everybody trying to get to the end here, but obviously just need a little bit of patience and be you're self-aware. And I guess that's another key point, a key learning point of driving here is when you get into a pack of cars, obviously it's not just going forward and turning left. You're hopefully some computers, you can't run your mirrors, so because that's just too graphically enhanced. So they do have the virtual mirror in there, so that helps. If you have it set correctly, I forget what the angle is. You can actually see the side of your car. The car's a little smaller in the mirror, but you can see off to your left and right. So that was always a little trick until I started I got better equipment, but and then learning things like a virtual spotter. They got all different types of overlays and spotters out there to kind of help out. Iracing does have their own, but sometimes they don't make the best of calls, and you just kind of do the best you can with what you got. But right now, these drivers only got 15 laps to go, and Dylan Jacobs finds themselves out front there in the number 5. Jeremy Gills in second. Andrew Jones up 18 spots in that number 3 has made up into that 3rd spot. And then Matt Ulmer is up 9 spots in P number 4. Christian Proctor back in 5th. David Chapman Jr. in the 88 has been in his incidents here tonight, has found themselves in 6th. Timothy Presley in 7th. The Drafty Beef going kind of back and forth here tonight, up there in the top 10. Joe Thomas up there as well, along with Chris Alley and Ryan Perrone. So a lot of good drivers out there. You got still got Zach White, Tiffany Ellis, William Martin, Kelly Akron, James Smith, and Bryson Anderson. So 17 drivers now on the lead lap.
We're going to try and bring in Dylan Jacobs here real quick. Leader of the race right now, Dylan. So, I mean, after everything's said and done, 10 laps or getting close to 10 laps to go here, you're at the right spot.
Yeah, kind of caught a lucky break with that late caution on that long run. So our strategy planned out great. So now it's just keep it clean, keep it up front, and don't spin out.
Absolutely. Well, good luck here on the restart. We'll let you go, and we'll see if we talk to you after the end of the race.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That is Dylan Jacobs, again, the sponsor of the race here with Tiffany Ellis in the fence racing. Keeping that thing out of the fence here tonight, and up front right now, up 10 spots. Dylan Jacobs going to lead them back to the green flag. We are racing here again at Homestead, 13 laps remaining, and it is Jacobs leading the way into turn 1.
Yeah, I know where they go as they work their way around here. So 5 able to go ahead and get that lead here early as everybody is kind of matching pace there. As he's going to use the outside the line to keep that momentum. But Jeremy Gill not wasting any time trying to catch him as they head down into turn number 3. As all the cars go zooming by here, we'll go back up to the front here. And you can see the 5 using the high line, the 4 using the low line. Which one's going to work here this late in the race on the newer tires? A lot of times during early stages of newer tires, a lower lane seems to work out just a little bit better because they do have grip, and you're able to kind of wear and tear and beat them tires up. But the 4 has the 5 cleared, able to clear them, slows them down. The 5 gives them a little nudge saying, hey, I'm still here. I'm not letting you go. So the 5 closes up on the 4. Going to use the high side. These drivers are going to continue to battle back here, but also there's another battle brewing back here. We had the number 3 and the 13 car, as we've seen the 13 car up in the front of the race earlier on, but the 3 is trying to make their presence known here late in the race.
Yeah, Proctor trying to get back up there. Unfortunately, the car that you've seen in the background when we were watching the cars rip by on the backstretch, that was Tiffany Ellis in the fence going towards the back of the field. Oh. Back now on the track, but back in 17th position. Watching the battle up here inside the top 5. The 1 of Presley now rejoins that top 5 and rejoins the battle for this win. Jeremy Gill out there in front. 10 laps to go here. Who's going to get this thing done? Who are you rooting for out there in Sierra Nation? Hold that thought. We got another caution here, and this time it is going to involve the 77 of Zach White on the front stretch. We'll see what officially brought this thing out, but we are going to have a caution here with under 10 laps to go.
So Zach White wrapped things up here on the front stretch. I don't see anything on Iracing, but we'll go ahead and click on the yellow flag here, see what kind of happened here, and click on Zach. Just kind of bouncing off turn 4. Ouch. Coming down, sliding back up on the track. Barney seen that one. He threw that flag quick as can be. He was Johnny on the spot as we're getting late here in the race.
Yeah, and it seems to be the troublesome spot here off of turn number 4 here tonight, and even a little bit off of turn number 2. These cars wanting to get a little free and step that back end out, and it's tough. I mean, even some of the the best drivers here in iRacing, it's tough to catch these Xfinity cars once they get a little bit loose. You got to be right there, ready to go as soon as it just steps a little bit out. But these cars are getting out there out of shape pretty quickly. Taking a look at the track temperature out here tonight, definitely not helping when it comes to the rear grip, as it is 80 degrees out here. So it's tough to kind of really get those tires heated up enough to get them going here. It looks like the 13 of Proctor going to come into the pits, a late pit stop here for the 13, and maybe just trying to get on a little bit better tire strategy here late in the race. A lot of these cars staying out, not wanting to give up that track position, and that could potentially hurt Proctor as he's falling further and further down the line right now. Nobody else coming into the pits other than the 77 there of Zach White involved in that incident. So Proctor going to fall all the way back to 14th. He's going to have the freshest tires in the field, though, pitting here on lap number 77. So we'll see what that's going to do for him, if he can make his way through the field cleanly and carefully and still have a chance at this win. Gill, Jacobs, and Jones all pitting on lap number 59 for tires. That 1 of Presley, though, pit on lap number 64. So of the guys in the top 5 there, he's got the freshest tires. Can he make them work out here for the end? As looks like once we get this green flag here, it'll be 6 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the move there by 13, if he knows his tires were gone and he was just going to go backwards, I mean, you're only going to move back to, 14th or 13th position, still in the lead lap, or 14th, still in the lead lap, and you're going to have that opportunity of new tires, be able to use these 8 laps and hopefully, make a good run here. But, pretty tough to pass here, as you can see. Obviously, with some of the, drivers out there still learning techniques and being around each other, it could be a little tricky, but definitely not a shocking move, Carl. As if you're the only one coming in, the cars are more in your favor to have a great run and finish here. So hopefully we'll see if Proctor has what it takes to come up through those 16 cars, or it looks like 6 cars to kind of get up there. And they are too wide, so it doesn't look like it's too far away. Matter of fact, we'll just go ahead and show Proctor, put a little pressure on the driver out there. Hopefully he's not listening. We'll see what that number 13 can do.
Well, he's going to have quite a few cars to pass here on this restart. We'll see what he can do. We'll see who's got the right tire strategy, who's in the right spot at the right time here at the end of this thing. 6 laps to go when we get this green flag. Right now, the driver at the front of the field is the 4, but how long can he stay there? How long will it pay off for Jeremy Gill here, and can the defending champions start off on a high note here with the first win of the season in the first race? Pace car is in. They're back to the Geico restart zone. We're back to racing here at Homestead. 6 laps to go.
6 laps to go, and they're going to be quick here. So Christian Proctor's got to use everything they can on these new tires to work their way up towards the front, and already lining up to 52 as he's able to hug that white line. Cold tires and all, trying to make the move down the backstretch. Going to move Christian Proctor up 1 more position, but let's focus up on the front here, as that one of Timothy Presley has his hands full trying to catch the awesome start that Jeremy Gill had. Also, the 5 of Dylan Jacobs, we talked to him earlier, had the lead there for a little bit. Was fell back into P number 3, so has some fighting to do. You can see all the different lines. Everybody's using him at the 5. It was getting sideways there. Was he able to save
wiggle
it?
there from Jacobs. He's going to be able to save it and get back in line, but he's going to lose plenty of positions in doing so. Now all the way back there in 8th position, battling with the 1. He's got the 13 of Proctor right behind him. The time is ticking by. Proctor's not making enough gains here early on, but now going to go 3 wide down to the bottom to try and get at least a position here. 4 laps to go. Gill still leads the way. Presley now all over him for the lead, as we've got a battle here. Presley looking to try and grab the lead from Gill. Gill getting a little bit better corner there out of 1 and 2 down the backstretch. The 4 still going to be in the lead, but Presley trying to make those new tires work, running that high line right now through 3 and 4, trying to get a good run back to the start-finish line, as it's now going to be down to 3 to go. A little bit of a bobble from the 1. It seems like Gill's really got that 4 locked in right now, but again, I mean, 5-lap newer tires, they're eventually going to wear down that they're about even with with the car that came in a little bit earlier, and right now it looks like maybe that could be the case, as Gill holding off Presley for the time being. You take a look back, Proctor up to 13th. He's got Drafty Beef, who's made a comeback here in the 2. He is up to 6th position. Joe Thomas up there in the top 5, trying to hold on. It's a hornet's nest back here at the back half of the top 10. Not sure how this thing is going to play out yet, but it's going to play out pretty quickly here. 2 laps to go. Gill still holding on, but it's getting closer. Now Proctor sends it in there 3 wide. You want to know what new tires does for you? That's what it can do for you right there. And you want the confidence? That's the confidence. Right there's a 22. Gets sent sideways, and that could be a late caution. There's a couple more cars getting involved, and we will have a caution here. And we're going to be in green-white checkered territory, as they have 3 attempts here for the series. This is going to be attempt number 1.
I'll go back.
As quite a few cars get involved.
Yeah, James Smith already going down to the wall there, but watch what happened between the 752. Just gets a rocket shot from the 57, smashing those two drivers there, right there at the end. So tough break for some of these drivers as it's a down late game. Definitely maybe what Proctor was looking for as one of the drivers on some of the newest tires out there. Going to put everybody back in. Some of the other drivers might not wanted to see this. Presley, obviously, with 5-lap newer tires, gets another shot at Gill. But Gill's been getting a great start. And that's one thing that maybe Presley needs to work on is being able to judge when the other car is going to go. But then you look back there, Proctor is all the way up in the 5th. Carl, when he came in, he was in 12th and 13th. So now going to reel everybody back that much closer, put him in 5th. I don't think this thing is over yet. I don't know how many green-white checkers they get, but your top 10 is going to be Gill, Presley, Jones, Chapman, Proctor for top 5, Thomas, Beef, Perrone, Jacobs, and Omer for your top 10.
Yeah, they do get 3 attempts here, as I mentioned, so this will be the first one of 3 here. Green-white checkered situation here. The 17 of King looks like no, I'm not going to get the lucky dog. It's like Kelly Akron going to have the lucky dog here as King still 2 laps down, but the 19 going to get back on to the lead lap. I want to thank everybody out there once again for tuning in tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything SCRN has to offer as we got racing just about every day of the week for this week, as we had the 191 Motorsports yesterday. We got the Hold Your Brakes Academy tonight, presented by pinupsforvets.com. Then tomorrow night we got the season finale for the core Xfinity series. Wednesday night, CSRL is going to have a few weeks off in between their season before they pick back up. We'll be back on board with them for season 13. Then on Thursday night, the Core GT Series wraps up with their season finale at Mugello, and the Virtual Velocity Racing in the midst of their 1-month summer break as well. But there's plenty of racing here week in and week out on CRN. So thanks for tuning in here tonight, as it's been a fun one. It's been interesting, and we're about to see who's got that late race speed, who is ready to make the moves. I'm sure I can pick one driver that's willing to make some moves. We've seen the 13 make a 3-wide dive in the middle through the corner and moved up a couple of spots here, and now finds himself on row number 3 here, restarting this thing in 5th position. Remember, he came back out of the pits in 12th. So he's worked his way up through quite a few cars, but now it's green-white checker time. He's going to have to get a move on very, very quick. Jeremy Gill, last time it got a good jump, had a little bit of a battle with the 5 of Jacobs before he got sent back towards the back half of the top 10, now running in 8th position. So we'll see what Gill can do on this restart, but it's going to be Gill, Presley, Jones, Chapman, and Proctor for the top 5. Beef, Thomas, Jacobs, Perrone, and Ellis for your top 10. So both the Season 1 and Season 2 champions in the top 10 right now, but it's a Season 2 champion that is going to lead him back to the green flag. We'll see if he leads him back to the checkered. We are racing again here at Homestead as Gill jumps on that loud pedal, heads off into turn number 1. A great restart for the 4. The 1 jumps to his preferred high line, trying to run him down, already 3 wide. Proctor going to the middle, trying to make those new tires work out. He's got the 88 of Chapman on the outside, the 3 of Andrew Jones on the inside. It's not going to make it work to get around the 88, but he will get around the 3. So up to 4th, and now dives to the inside, the 88 in the wall a little bit, so he's going to get to 3rd position. 1 lap to go. The white flag is in the air. The next flag will end it here as the 4 heads off into turn number 1. He's got a good 0.3 of a second lead. The 1 trying all he can to get up there and make a move. Proctor trying to work that bottom line to catch back up to both of them. A good distance in between first and second down the backstretch, and a little bit too far to even think about getting the chrome bumper out there. The 1 tries to dive it in there, goes to the middle line. It's not going to work out for him. The 13 dives to the inside. Battle off of the final corner, and the 1 gets sent into the wall. Hard impact as Jeremy Gill going to get this thing done. Chapman going to come home in second, and by 1/100th of a second, looks like Proctor is going to hold on to that top 3 spot. We'll take a look at that finish here once again and see what happened out of turn number 3. But Jeremy Gill getting it done. The champion starts off on the right foot.
Yeah, so obviously coming down to the last lap here is here with Proctor getting underneath the 1. And this is, obviously everybody's learning and hard racing here. So obviously trying to use them new tires to their advantage. Kind of has that car stuck down there. The 1 that probably feels his presence as they come around here, getting ready to make it their way through turn number 4. Ends up side by side, but it does look like the 13 kind of drifts up just a little bit, but uses the 1, unfortunately, as a saving grace to kind of help the 13 slow down. Checks up for the 1. As the 1 slides by, so we got the 13. We'll go ahead and continue going straight as the 1 will go by here, and we'll stop it right here. As you're going to see the 88 make their way by. But I want to go back to the 1 here, Timothy Presley, and you can see the car down on the outside and kind of working their way up here as things are kind of happening now. Back in the track, the 23, nowhere to go. Obviously, you're gonna smack the 1 there hard, send them around. 17 getting wrapped up in this is all after the fact here, so this is all past the start finish line. So we'll go back here and see if any. Oops, it looks like that was that. So, but yeah, a lot of action there at the end. Definitely some hard racing here tonight at Homestead. Always it's good to see drivers out there trying new things, and obviously with a league like Hold Your Brakes Academy, a lot of people out there learning, and this is where you start. And everybody's got to have patience with each other. If somebody made a bonehead move, they'll probably call each other out in Discord, but that's usually the way it goes.
Well, it was a great race here, and we had 26 cars out here for the season opener, so love to see that. We'll give a quick rundown of tonight's final results here, and it's going to be Jeremy Gill getting the win. David Chapman, Christian Proctor for your top 3. Andrew Jones, Drafty Beef rounding out the top 5. Joe Thomas, Dylan Jacobs, Ryan Perone, Matt Ulmer, and Timothy Presley for your top 10. Tiffany Ellis, a good finish up there in 11th. Bryson Anderson, Kelly Akron, Joshua King, Tristan Miner for the top 15. Shane King, Robbie Miner, William Martin, Robbie Miner, and James Smith and Thomas Osborne for your top 20. Rounding out the rest of the field is going to be Chris Alley, Zach White, Sean McLean, Steve Harrison, Robert Altman, and Robert White, as Quinn McLean not taking the green flag here tonight. But we got our top 3 in here ready for some interviews. I'm not sure how ready they are, as maybe some picking up some of their equipment from the front stretch. Maybe still catching their breath as Jeremy Gill was running for his life in the ending of this race. But we're going to go ahead and bring in our 3rd place finisher here tonight, and it's going to be the 13 of Christian Proctor. Christian, it looked like you had the car to beat early on in the race, but you, looks like you, Drafty Beef, Joshua King, and I believe there's one other, decided to just stay out. And unfortunately, you end up having to make your pit stop under green, and it made the second half of the race a little bit tougher for you.
Yeah, I was expecting hopefully for it to go green after my pit stop there, and more yellows keep coming out, and kept pushing me back further. And I was hoping it was a good idea, but it didn't turn out too bad.
Well, another idea that you had was coming into the pits there with the green-white checkered. You decided to come in and try and well, not the green-white checker, but the caution right before that, around 10 laps to go. You bring it into the pits, and I gotta ask, were you thinking that others were going to come in there and follow you? Were you kind of surprised when you came back there all the way in the back half of the lead lap?
I didn't know what to think, to be honest. I was on about 8 lap older tires compared to the leaders and all that. And so I was like, look, there might be a wreck here towards the end. Hopefully I can get some good speed through it with the new tires and catch up to everybody. But I was expecting a couple people to follow, but nobody followed. I was the only one.
Well, at the end of the day, you end up coming home in third. I know it's probably disappointing with the first half of the race that you had. You come out here, you put that thing on the front row, you lead a bunch of laps at the beginning. But either way, I mean, first race now in the books, you get yourself a podium, so it's got to kind of feel at least a little bittersweet.
Yeah, I was hoping for first, man, but yeah, fighting back through the pack, through lap traffic and all that, it's tough here, man. It's hit or miss. Every lap, it's like it could vary a lot.
Well, congrats on the podium here tonight. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do we give a shout out to or thanks to?
I just want to shout out my team, mid-tier. We work together every week to help each other get a little better.
All right, buddy. We'll let you go celebrate this one. We'll see you next week and see if you can get that top spot.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
That is driver of the third place finisher here tonight, Christian Proctor. Second place here tonight is going to be the 88 of David Chapman Jr.
Hey, Dave, it's Jimmy and Carl up the booth copy.
Gotcha. How are y'all?
Hey, not too bad. Hey, you had one interesting race, man. You found yourself in a little bit of trouble in the beginning, and then at the end, nearly missing some more trouble before that start-finish line, but able to give you a decent run here and a good finishing spot, a P number 2. But give us your side of the story on this 85 lap here at Homestead.
Yeah, it was a wild race, and like you said, right at the beginning, got in an accident, got pushed to the back, and when you get back there, the competition is really stout, so it was hard to pass. But slowly just kept working my way to the front, dodging wrecks and just moving forward. I played the pit strategy on that long green flag run by staying out. That cycled me back up into about 6th or 7th. And then from there, it was just avoiding the chaos, and it looked like it was going to be a P4, but coming out of turn 4, that quickly changed. So I took advantage of that and ended up at P2.
Yeah, definitely. Everything could change at the blink of an eye, and let alone just the last corner. But yeah, I think a great solid run with all the things that you had to overcome here tonight after 85 laps, a bunch of cautions, and staying out there for longer runs. And it was nice to see everybody finally settle down and get that long green flag run in until it ended. But definitely good to see how drivers were out there, how they're able to settle going around this track. Multiple lines, the low line, high line, both working here tonight, just depending on tire wear and tear. But before we let you get out of here, though, we want to say congratulations on a second place finish here at the first race of the season, and also give you a little time for any shouts that you might have in that number 88.
Yeah, so I want to shout out the Athens Rock Lobsters. I put them on the car. That's a new hockey team that we have here in Athens, Georgia. They had their first season this fall, and a pretty big staple here in the Athens community. So I decided to put them on the car tonight. So shout out to the Athens Rock Lobsters and to you guys, too, for putting on the broadcast. We appreciate it.
I really appreciate the shout outs, and hopefully we'll see you next week up here on the podium again and continue this good luck for the season. So again, congratulations, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 88 of David Chapman. Winner here tonight, defending champion, did not waste any time grabbing the first win of the season. Jeremy, you had the right strategy at the right time. Maybe not the best tires when it came down to the end of it. You had a few cars just kind of nipping at your heels there at the end. The one on a little bit fresher tires, and then certainly at the end, the 13 on fresher tires. But it didn't matter. You looked like you were locked in with that 4 here tonight.
Yes, sir. Timmy had me sweating bullets, and then I saw Proctor coming up to 13. He had me sweating bullets too, man. They were flying up on me.
So, I mean, we've talked to many drivers after races like this where, cautions kind of fly at some different times and gets the pit strategies all kinds of jumbled up here. We've seen a lot of different pit strategy out here tonight. How does that kind of, work on your mind as a driver out there?
It makes me nervous because it gives more opportunity for folks to take 4 tires. That's like Proctor, the 13 rather. He went in twice, got fresher tires twice, still finished up there in 3rd or 2nd or wherever he finished. But it makes me nervous because it gives more opportunity. And I thought about it, but I looked at the standings, and that would have put me like 15th or 16th. So it's makes me nervous, but it's part of it.
Yeah, it happens. It's you just kind of have to deal with it. And it sucks when you go into a race like this. You have an idea of what you want to do for a strategy, and then by lap 10, all of a sudden it's thrown out of whack, and you have to scramble the whole time. Yeah. There's so much to worry about when you're behind the wheel of a car, and then have to try and figure out pit strategy and fuel strategy and tires and everything like that. I mean, you guys have 4 sets of tires in the pits. You guys start with 75% of fuel. Was there, any part of the situation here tonight that you were kind of worried about how that strategy was going to play out?
Yes, about the 3rd, 4th, 5th caution that we had. I started getting very nervous because, it was the whole pit strategy of all these cautions. That's just more opportunity for fresh tires, but I elected to maintain track position. So, yeah, I threw a wrench in it.
So you were the champion of season 2 here, the defending champion coming in here, and you guys ran intermediates last season. You start on an intermediate here tonight, so you just kind of feel right at home here.
I said it last year. I'll say it again. Intermediates are my bread and butter. Bread and butter. Short tracks, super speedways. I can hold my own as short track, but super speedways, you can just about hang it up. I love intermediates. They're so technical. They're amazing. I love running them.
Well, it's a good thing then we head to Bristol next week. go right to a short track. So what are your thoughts about Bristol coming up next week? Do you think it's just going to be, kind of surviving the Coliseum there?
It's going to be a name of survival for me. Absolutely. I don't know. I've surprised myself there before. But out of the short tracks on the NASCAR circuit, it's definitely the best one for me out of the 4. So, looking forward to it, but also looking forward to getting past it.
All right, buddy. Well, take your time right now and celebrate the win here tonight, starting off the season on the right foot here and trying to go back to back here in the Hold Your Brakes Academy series. Congrats on the win. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
My team over at Mid-Tier Racing, this is now the 3rd season they've been with me across different leagues. They're an amazing group of people. Proctor and Marty, Darian, Kelly Akron, they're part of Mid-Tier. And then I'd like to thank Sisk Speed Shop for all that he does for me in the background. It's a great group of guys, and I look forward to our sessions.
Well, it's a good start to the season for you here. We'll see what you can do next week at Bristol. Maybe we'll talk to you again, but if not, it's at least a good start to the season. So take some time, celebrate this one. We'll see you next week at Bristol.
Yes, sir. Thank you, bud.
That is your winner here tonight, the 4 of Jeremy Gill. We'll bring in one more here for an interview, and it's going to be the 3 of Andrew Jones come home in 4th place with the biggest move of the race here, up 17 spots, Jimmy.
Hey, Andrew, Jimmy, and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, you started the evening towards the back of the pack, but here at the end, you find yourself all the way up in P number 4, up 17 spots. That's a massive amounts of positions to make. Just kind of wanted to get your side of the story of how your race was. Tell you congratulations on all the great passing and getting yourself into a great finish here to start the season. But, did you have a rough start there? Is that why you ended up starting in the pack, or some drivers like myself that tend not to qualify the greatest, but just usually have a good race?
I appreciate it. Yeah, on lap 1 of my qualifying run, I got loose coming off of 4, and it just destroyed both of my laps. So we started like dog water right out the front, out the rip, and then after that, I drilled it in my head. I was just gonna focus on long run and do what I could.
Did it lose you?
Oh, I'm still here.
Nope.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you dropped out there at the end of your conversation. You said that you were, you just kind of put your nose down and focused on that long run.
That's right. Yes, sir. That was just all I could do.
Yeah, definitely paid off there for you in the end, and it was good to see that as the league progressed here through the night. Obviously, yeah, a little caution here, a little caution there, but then you guys had that nice big window of a green flag running, obviously taking out a huge chunk of the race, and then obviously as the race gets down to the end, everybody starts to put the elbows out and start racing a little bit harder because the end's coming to an end here. But you kept your cool. We've seen Pokes there, maybe possibly getting in that top 5 without any incidents happening. But obviously, a few drivers in front of you end up getting tied up there at the end, allowing you to catch another spot or two, but ultimately up 17 spots, like we said. Very impressive drive for the evening. And from CRN, obviously, we wanted to say congratulations as we're getting to know everybody and give you a little time for maybe any shouts you might have at number 3 here tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Honestly, I was despising when the caution started happening because I was set up better to just have the race go green. I appreciate y'all coming on and doing this. You guys sound extremely professional. I appreciate everybody that sponsored this, and I appreciate Shane for putting this together, and appreciate them letting me be a part of it.
I definitely appreciate you actually, all y'all showing up there tonight and having a good time. So it just makes this job that much funner, meeting great people and watching everybody have fun. So again, congratulations on your finish here tonight. We'll hopefully see you next week and maybe in that top 3. And maybe the rest of the season we'll even see even more. So again, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
That is the 4th place finisher here tonight. Excuse me, the 3 of Andrew Jones with the hard charger here tonight, up 17 positions. Congrats again to Jeremy Gill, as he will get the $10 for the win here tonight. As a lot of these races here, give it a little scratch out there to the winners. So congrats on Jeremy Gill bringing that one down here tonight. Thank you again for the series sponsorship to Joe Thomas and PinupsForVets.com. Certainly check them out and help them out as they help this league out here as well. Get them in touch with us and get the broadcast out to you fans out there. So thank you to the fans out there as well. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. That is going to do it for myself and Jimmy for race number 1 here, the Hold Your Brakes Academy, presented by PinupsForVets.com. We'll see you at the track.
Peace.